Welcome to the Smart ICO Investor live stream. Let's go to my channel. Just make sure we're going to be streaming. There we go. So today I want to talk about this grading sheet that I've come up with. Kind of against grading sheets for a long time. Not because, well, I think they're really subjective. So I've tried to take a lot of the subjectivity out. And I'm not there yet, but it's going to get there. So let's walk through. Everything is on its side here, so it's a bit difficult to see, but to break it down, also we'll start with the overview. So here will be the overview. It'll be a quick, easy way to see the project scores, along with the token sale details, and then also more information about the actual projects. The real scoring breakdown is going to happen here, and I'm going to post this. I'm going to take this. That. Just start this out. Reading. Okay, this one as well. All right, so let's come back. Let's take a look. So a lot of this I've taken from other places. So I was looking at the GBX requirements, which I have over here. They're a lot more in depth, so I tried to simplify them and essentially have broken it down into, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. So first category is going to be the team. Let's just go over the scoring rules. First category is going to be the team. Then it's going to be legal. Financial reporting and control is next. Token and smart contract. Just get rid of this. Token and smart contract, cybersecurity, and then project score as well too. So a lot of these should be either pass fail. So we'll just start with this. I'll run through and I'll just describe kind of my overview of how I've set this up. And it's really a checklist for myself to ensure that the team is okay, the company is set up all right, they've taken into account cybersecurity and security of their own assets, as well as providing the smart contract review, and then the quality of the project. That's 5, but there's one more in there. So let's just start here. So corporate structure. This is really the team and business and company. I may move this into legal. The corporate structure into legal. We'll just leave this as team right now. So how is the corporate structure set up? Get 1 point. This is really just a pass-fail to ensure that the due diligence has been done on the company, where they set up, is it in a good jurisdiction, have they gone through the necessary requirements to have a functioning legal company, and especially with what they're going to be doing with their token, it needs to match with how their corporate structure is set up. Ownership analysis. Are there any issues in the ownership? It's a pretty simple one. Background checks. So here I also say, so I have the name out of total points, and then if 0. This means like if there is a 0, they're going to get an automatic fail. So this should be pretty basic stuff. So ownership analysis, corporate structure. If there's a problem with the company, then it's an instant no. If they don't have lawyers, it's automatically a 0. Retention of auditors, again, if they don't have that, automatically 0. Smart contract audit, if they haven't done that, automatically 0. So I'm sure there'll be some zeros out there in some companies who I'll be reviewing. But for the most part, I mean, these should be just checks in the boxes that they should already have done so far. References check. This can be tied more into advisors. References / advisors. This will be to ensure that they have any external advisors, because if they don't, if everybody's internal, and there could be an issue for the company not actually existing. And that goes the same for operational site visit as well too. Like, have they posted any pictures of the office? Do they have a location for the office? There you go. Team experience. I'm working on this one. This is a 1 to 10. It's going to be a mixture of different things. How long has the team worked together is really important. What other projects did they work on together? How successful were those projects? Why did they leave the project? If their own experience, what experience do they bring to company now? We'll get into this. So that kind of covers the basics experience. And do they have all the parts necessary to build out a company? Second one is senior management experience. And this is going to be purely about the managers. Again, what have they done before? Have they had a startup before, or were they more in the corporate world? How many exits do they have? How long did it take them to exit? How much for? These sorts of questions. Personal backgrounds. So what in their personal background has led them to start this project, which I think is pretty cool. Also business backgrounds. So again, I think this may just be tied into senior management experience, but I may rework this one. So what business experience does the team of managers have that could lead to success of the business? I'll probably move this one back into senior management experience. Qualifications. Do they have PhD? Do they have licenses is a big one. So what qualifications do they have that will allow them to function? Previous positions. What were the previous positions? Does this influence the current position? Kind of ties in with experience, senior management experience, but senior management should also be graded on like personal, like personalities, and also I guess who they are themselves. Because previous positions, I mean, you could work in a position in a company beforehand and not actually have the, not actually be the one who's doing any work. Conflict of interest. So, are there any serious conflict of interests which have arisen? I rarely think this one will go. And then also questions for managers. This one's mostly, does any of the senior management team, are they in bankruptcy? Have they ever liquidated a company? Have they ever, do they have pending criminal charges? Do they have previous criminal charges? Really, it should just be a pass-fail. So if there is any criminal activity in their past, it's an instant fail. Because, and especially if it concerns fraud or something else, it's not good. Next is legal. I mean, this should almost be a rubber stamp. From day one, any company looking to go to a token generation event or an ICO should have lawyers retained. So, does the project have competent legal advice? It's a yes or no question. I get 3 points for that. 3 points will probably grade the competency of the legal team, because there are definitely better legal practices out there than others. Has there been a legal review of the project? Have they gone over the white paper? Have they gone over the terms and conditions? And is there a legal opinion on the token? This is pretty important. Next is financial reporting and control. So it's pretty basic. So retention of auditors. Do they have a person in-house, or are they going to be hiring someone who will be producing financial reports for them? Do they have sufficient financial resources to run the project and continue the project? That's an important one. And also source of funds. This is really more about their implementation of KYC. So does the KYC process actually work? At what level are they doing it at? Because this is going to matter a lot in the future. And then also financial reporting and control. So I'd like to see companies make a commitment to releasing either quarterly or half-yearly reports about the company. They are taking a lot of funds on from what would be the private investors or crowd sale. So issuing a use of funds report would be extremely valuable in this case. And they get 5, and legal also gets 5. Team and company get 35. So we'll come back to the scores in a bit. So token and smart contract, there absolutely needs to be a smart contract audit. 100% needs to be, and it needs to be done by a reputable third-party auditor. They need to confirm functionality that works, and also perform a solidity check. Also, they get 3 points. So if any of that has not been done, then it's an instant fail. Additionally, the smart contract needs to be made public so that it can be reviewed by the general public. So that's not always 100% necessary. Well, I mean, it is kind of necessary, but if there is an independent auditor who's done it, that should be good enough, especially if they're reputable. Cybersecurity, do they retain a security firm? This is a firm which will conduct regular attacks on their servers to ensure that there are no critical issues which would allow for hackers to come in and either take over their systems or steal funds. And this kind of ties in with number 2. Do they have proper storage arrangement for tokens and funds? There's been several hacks against companies so far. So do they have proper cold storage in place? And then lastly is data protection with GDPR coming on and all the other existing data protection rules. Do they have existing systems in place to handle data retention and protection? And then we kind of get down to the meat. So the quality of the project, it's a bit subjective on my part, but 1 to 10. Scaling of the project, can the project scale effectively? I may lower this one down from 5. It seems a bit much. Seems like the quality of the project should be almost, I think I'm going to do that. This one's going to be out of 15. This one's going to be 15. I'm going to take this one down to 2 and then just take this to 5. All right, okay. And I'll change that on the scoring breakdown. So 15 gives me a little bit more leeway. 15 to 5. Okay, 15 to 5. We'll change these things. So come back to scoring rules. So scaling, it should be either a kind of a yes or a no. Quality of the project is my subjective opinion after looking at the project, reading the white paper, and trying to understand what they're doing. And that will be a later I'll come out with how I get those 15 points. But prospect of success, very important. So even though they may have a project, what other things do they have which they're going to be using? Advisors, the team. How does everything kind of come together to give them the possibility of actually succeeding? And then okay, so that's out of 10 because it's really important, because if they're going to achieve and have a long-term success, there needs to be a high prospect of success at the beginning. Budget, so does the budget match expectations? Do they need 20 million to do it? Do they need 100 million? Or they need 5 million? Or do they need 5 million but they're taking 25 just to have the cash? These things have to be looked at. Not a pyramid scheme, you get 1 point for that. And then also has identifiable revenue streams. 2 points for that. Some people do have good revenue streams, some people don't. And then also time frame. Is the roadmap reasonable? So is it going to take them 2 years to bring about this technology? Do they already have an MVP ready? It's really important. So this all kind of ties into the score out of 100. I've kind of started. I can adjust this. So I'm going to give this a 15. Yeah, 15. Scales to scale 1. Quality project is and then we're going to add 5. That wasn't 5, so actually they are going to be 5. Easy to do 3. Okay, so I've scored 2 projects already, and you can see here, one is HyperNet, and I'm just going to freeze this. View freeze. One column. Okay, so first one is HyperNet, and the other one is Acropolis. And then Veracity I'm just going to do right now. To look through and just walk through how I'm giving these scores. So based on, so I haven't been able to finish Acropolis because I don't know if they have a smart contract audit and public audit of smart contract coming, but that should push them up in the 80 range. Veracity is doing now, and so let's run through that and see if there's anybody. Sure. All right. Okay. So let's take a look at Veracity. Team experience, David Orman on LinkedIn. Founding part of the Hatch House. I actually met the Veracity team. I met David. I think I met David. No, I met Chris. That's right. I met Chris. Yeah. So team experience looks good. Let's take a look at David's thing. He's the front man. Hatch House is above Veracity. That's interesting. He's the CEO, but Hatch House is ahead. Venture consultancy, high potential. Okay. So some venture consultancy, and he's stepping into this. Worked as a non-executive director for Carabiner Partners. This is more of just a manager that's in place. Chris was actually the kind of the genesis behind all of this. I'm pretty sure. When I had met him, it seemed like he was the one who had come up with the idea. I mean, that makes sense if they're going to put in a professional CEO to run the management, because it looks like they already have a pretty big team. Yeah, Chris was the one who ran it. He went to Level Up and Touch Tab. Other things, advertising. I mean, it's a cool product. So based on that, I'm gonna give the team experience an 8. I'm gonna give senior management experience an 8. And yeah, executive management. There's 3 guys in executive management. But what is it? What does that mean? It's like 4 co-founders. Blockchain developer, Krilo Rabbit. Is he based out of Poland? So it looks like they're exporting a lot of their development into Poland, which is fine. Yeah, these are all Polish names. So I wonder which company they're using, or if they've just hired developers in Poland to reduce costs. That would make sense. There's a few other projects doing that. Yeah. Yeah. So as you can see in my grading sheet, did I change? I changed the references to references and advisors. Change this to references advisors. Is really only one point. You know, they're not there on day-to-day running the actual company. So it's more important, really, who's in the senior management and what their backgrounds are. So team experience looks good. I'm giving it a 7 just because it's distributed and further away. But senior management team looks good. Personal background. Give this. This needs to be merged into. What did I say was going to happen? Previous positions. Yeah, business backgrounds just mean merged into previous positions. So this goes to 5. This goes to 4. This goes to 6 previous positions just because of the names. There's Amazon and a load of other people. So let's delete this column. Right. Qualifications 2 and because I had talked to Chris. He's got a really interesting story. It doesn't look like there's any. Actually, I read through the documents. One thing I really like about these guys is the way that they've done their compliance, this sustainable ICOs protocol, which I would highly recommend that you go check out. Post it in. Should I post it on the announcement thread? Didn't I? I did. So it's right here. You can go and read it. Great. Okay. Message managers. Let's get the score. 32. One of the higher ones based on the team. I do know they have legal. They've already done the review. That's all covered in the in that sustainability. But yes, they have auditors, source of funds, and it's good. All this is laid out easily to understand. Smart contract audit has been done. Confirms functionality, solidity check, and I do not know if there's been a public. I'm just going to leave that blank because I don't know if there's been a public audit of the smart contract. I'll leave these guys blank as well too. Okay. They do have a security firm as described. So a lot of these questions were described in the thing. So quality of the project. It's a pretty cool idea that you can get paid to watch videos. However, and it's already done. It's already created. They've been working on this player for a long time. It doesn't have a lot of functionality, but the base functionality is there. Apparently, they've been working on it a long time. So, as for that, having a working MVP, we're going to go. Well, since it's just a base MVP, it scales. Yes, it scales. Prospect of success. This one I'm a little bit worried about because you're going up against YouTube. There's two big giants, YouTube, then Vimeo, then nothing else, really. So I'm going to give this one a low prospect of success. Maybe like a 4 because they're competing with people who are much, 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 much bigger than them, who already have well-defined players which can do lots of things and which have hundreds of developers and engineers working on them. Budget, I'm pretty sure. Let me go back to, here we go. Token sale. Budget. So hard cap. Why can't they? 0.75. 46 million. I mean, they could grow quite a lot with that if they were able to close it. So yes, their budget is on the high side, but it would definitely allow them to have a runway for a few years and really work to bring new clients in. So yes, it's not a pyramid stream, has very identifiable revenue streams, and time frame is at 5 because they already have a player. So let's calculate this score, 31. And there we go, A5, which is higher. So the quality of the project is good. The big question, and which I will be working in, is how to skew that against the token metrics, which is not covered in this. So the scoring breakdown does not cover any of the actual token structure, how many tokens they're selling. It only looks at the project itself, whether it's a good project and whether the team is a good team. So the score on the scoring breakdown is only there to provide a project score. It's not there to provide an ICO score, which I will be working in the overview come later on. So project score 85. The hard cap probably will hurt it. I'm going to insert one here. So hard cap equals format number. All right, there you go. So yeah, there we go. That's the first one. Somebody else wanted me to take a look at P-Chain, I think it was. And P-Chain, so a lot of these, and especially for more of the Asian companies, is going to be difficult because right. So again, I think a lot of the issues are going to be T plus 7 months. Wow. 12 months. All right. I don't see anything for partners. Where did it all go? Maybe it didn't load. The issue with the grading scale is that if it's not laid out, so here's the veracity IO report, which is very good. I'm going to recommend for other ICOs to actually do this because it clearly lays out the vision, the problem, value proposition, revenue model, network effect, market size, timing, competitors, token utility value, all sorts of stuff. Very good. But additionally, when you get down into team, advisor, governance, technical, where's the legal? So talk about the legal jurisdiction, which I think is going to be a little bit harder to find for P-Chain. Maybe it's in the white paper, which the website kind of sucks. Let's load it up again. Try to get the white paper. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this grading sheet actually. What I don't have yet, and what I'll be working on the next few days, is actually to get like an actual grade. So to take the project score and then base that on the token metrics to get a final grade, which the final grade should really take project score and then the amount of tokens and the amount of tokens that are being sold, as well as the cap, and come up with a grade. Great. Really? Open the P-Chain. Let's do this. You have to register. I really hate to. I don't want to read like. I want the white paper. Issue. Download. Okay, I have to register. All right. Well, I'm not going to register now. Because I'll have to open up my email and stuff. So, I think that should cover it for now. I'll be back in a while, and let's take a look. Covering more about what is going on with the sheet, but really, this is leading into some broader due diligence issues, which we'll be covering. So, thanks for tuning in, and this will be up. And send me any questions that you have, and make sure to join the announcement thread.